Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Introduce. My name is Muhammad Apajila Nugroho. I will present the result of my research. Strike. HTML is a web or website programming language that is definitely used in making the web. The web is divided into two, namely static web and dynamic web. Static web is a medium for displaying static or fixed page, but it is the web browser that governs it. Examples of the technology related to static web are screenshot such as HTML, JavaScript, but besides what, we must be diligent in predicting and trying to make a web either static or dynamic. HTML itself is not classified as a programming language because of its nature, which only gives a stick to a text script and not as program. In general, the function of HTML is to make a series of data and information so that a document can be accessed and displayed on the internet through web service. Primarily, web or website is a medium for displaying page. The web is divided into two, namely static web and dynamic web. Static web is medium for displaying static or fixed page, but it is the web browser that refers it. Example of program language related to static web are screenshot as HTML and JavaScript. This paper was made to make learning easier, meaning that even though we don't really understand the description, we already know it. This assessment is easier for students who study about this chapter because it has been grouped according to description. But we said that we must be diligent in practicing and trying to make a web either static or dynamic. Description: HTML or hypertext markup language is a method to implement the context of hypertext in a script or document. HTML itself is not classified as a programming language because of its nature, which only maps or marking up on a text script and not as a program. but the protocol protocol as protocol used to transfer data or document from a web server into a browser or Internet Explorer or Netscape Navigator. Understanding HTML when described based on the word of its composition, HTML can be interpreted more deeply into hypertext, markup, language. HTML function. The function of HTML is to manage a series of data and information so that a document can be set and displayed on the internet through web service. More spec HTML function are: number 1, gateway page, displaying version information in an internet browser. Create a link to another web page with a substance code or hypertext. Forming the log of the document, in this case determine that type, page, image, and other document content. Determine the size and flow of writing. Integrating image with text and authors. Research method. This type of research is qualitative research to find out how interpret HTML. Programming language is to create a website or website by collecting data, asking interview and observation to obtain information. Interview is the main activity in observational study. Interview can be conducted directly or indirectly. Observation is activity that look directly at the location to get the information needed to conduct the research. The data collected related to the importance of the HTML programming language to create a website or website, especially for website programs. That things must be done and need to create a website or website. Discussion result. HTML language is the language used to build a website or blog. HTML language, which stands for hypertext markup, is the most basic language in programming a website or blog, and also the exchange language to learn properly in making a website or blog. Not only the creation of website or blogs, the HTML language can also be used for the creation or certain software part. Web programming language. Number 1. Hypertext Markup Language or HTML. The HTML language is a simple language and has few difficulties. The language that is the basic of the Internet framework was developed by Tim Berners-Lee in 1989. Almost every website has this language, whether it's just display text, animation, graphic, display, or sound. HTML language still comes from an old language called CGML, Standard Generation Markup Language. However, the development of HTML has standardized approximately 10 years the language was introduced. Number 2. Dynamic HTML. HTML is a language that can be set and controlled by scripting languages such as VBScript, JavaScript. HTML is often used to display animation, sound, or text effect, color change, and so on. This language is often referred to as the object version of HTML. Number 3. Extractable Markup Language XML. XML is a language that is more limited in natural than HTML element. With XML, people can define their own element and set development time. Define that element yourself? Yeah, everything is done on documentable definition of commonly accepted as GTD is. It is detected during the start tag and end tag of an XML file so that the display data can be filled. Number 4. HTML. This language is still under development. HTML is a combination of HTML and XML language. Like XML, this language is also still relatively new but is best designed to play a very important role in growing the world of the web in the future. Number 5. Personal homepage. PHP. PHP was invented by Rasmus Lerdof, which initially used to record the number or site visitor who opened his resume page. He then will return his code with C language, which then made the language its in capability. It was only after this that there were many figures who were contribute to the development of PHP, because as Ziv Surajki and Andy Goodman were rumors that pursuing needed to create PHP version 3. PHP trend became the most frequently asked about model. The following is an example of a PHP script that will display the text hello world. Number 6. CGI Common Gateway Interface. CGI Common Gateway Interface is the oldest and most developed internet standard as a means of passing information for a web service to a program and returning the result of the browser. Number 7. PERL Political Action and Reports Language. Number 8. Go Home Function. Home Function is a application development system developed by Allied. The main components of call function are: number 1. Call function application server. Number 2. Call function markup language. Number 3. Call function studio. CFM files are stored in plain text, just like PIRL and PHP, so one can view their content. Number 9. ESP Active Server Page. ESP was created specially for Microsoft server. This language is dynamic web programming language. ESP can be used to execute foreign requests to a database or command on the local system. Number 10. Java. Read the previous article on the history of Java to get acquainted with the language. Number 11. HTML Sun Standard JavaScript language, created to include Java in a HTML file, has a separate tag that is posted before sending output to the browser. JHTML is almost similar to HTML, except that it has additional Java text. Concern in making a website, there are two important components, namely www and HTML, where www is a standard protocol from the internet, where HTML is standard script or program that is run by www or the internet. This HTML project was created using the Notepad web editor. In HTML, there are two parts of the document, namely the hand and the body. Making school web or HTML project using Notepad. Start with crunching HTML language in Notepad, which then for each line in this project is always merged with is all HTML language according to what we will read. That's all from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.